Hey guys, it's me Chan Dragon, and yeah, this time is Wushu Liu Pool edition for 3.7. So yeah, it is between Yoimiya, Yaemiko, Alhaitham, and Kazuha. Let's get started. Character that I want to talk first, which is Yoimiya. The good about Yoimiya is that first, she is relatively good and strong Pyro main DPS though, because we don't have so much main DPS besides Deluxe, Hu Tao, and Yoimiya itself. So that's why she can consider good in Pyro main DPS. And second, she's basically a single target specialist. She's very good at boss or flying enemy like kinda thunder manifestation or whatever. So that's why when you see in the preview the thunder manifestation, yeah, that's because Yoimiya run. Usually Yoimiya is very good those kind of enemy. She basically kinda boss killer. And the next one is that she has a convenient gameplay which like basically, it's in a kind of only normal attack, nothing else than that. So it's very convenient gameplay though, and then you trigger Vapor, something like that. Yeah, it's very good. The bad about Yoimiya is that first she's suffering AoE just because her gameplay is that she shoots very fast but only one target. So because of that, yeah, it's very hard if you have content that a lot of multiple enemy, especially kind of spiral abyss, it will took quite some time though, unless you have a kind of a well built of your Yoimiya good artifact, or you spend kind of consolation or maybe weapon, then yeah, probably you can compromise with that. But other than that, yeah, quite suffering AoE. Second is that the build from Yoimiya is actually quite expensive and grindy, just because it's no Yoimiya fault, but it's more like standard build. Standard build, it's usually harder than current our like Dendro meta team where you only stack in EM and you are done. But this one you need like balance crit rate, crit damage. So you need to farm a high CV character. You may need like a high attack which you can get from weapon or consolation, something like that. So it's pretty much expensive or either grinded. The third one, she's replenishable just because she has main DPS, and usually in Genshin Impact support and kind of sub DPS thing is more important than main DPS. That's the harsh reality in Genshin Impact. The reason for you to pull Yoimiya is that first, if you need a kind of main DPS that specializes in single target or boss, because maybe some of your character or your team right now is only specialized in kind of AoE. Let's say you have in the freeze team. Usually freeze team is very good in AoE, so you want something that more kind of single target focus that kill faster in single enemy, then yeah, Yoimiya you can consider with that. Second, if you prefer convenient and easy gameplay, then yeah, go for Yoimiya, because Yoimiya gameplay is basically very easy. Just click, 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 and then just do rotation and just click, click, click. Yeah, that's it. And the third one is that if you like the character and gameplay, then pull for Yoimiya. Just because I think Yoimiya's one is very kind of charming character for me. At least my one of my personal favorite in terms of design, top 10 especially, at least. And the reason for you to not pull Yoimiya is that first, if you have more than 3 main DPS, then yeah, I don't suggest for you to pull. As if you kind of want to be efficient. Of course, if you say yeah, this is my account, I just want to do whatever I want, then yeah, whatever, then you can do whatever. But this one, if you want to be efficient, I don't suggest you have more than 3 main DPS, because in my case, I have a lot of main DPS. I bench Xiao, sometimes I bench Yula, I bench like Diluc and whatever. I bench a lot of main DPS, honestly. So yeah, it feels kind of wasted if you kind of want to be efficient or clear a lot of stuff in Genshin Impact, especially kind of new player. And then if you already have Futa or Xiangling build also, I don't really recommend for kind of pull for Yoimiya, just because Futa and Xiangling still better than Yoimiya though, so that's a little bit sad. And second is that if you aim for a good AoE unit or sub DPS that targeting multiple enemy, then don't. Just because like Yoimiya is not good in AoE at all, and Yoimiya is only can do on field. Don't have any sub DPS or off field kinda feature. The last one, if you're looking for meta character, sadly Yoimiya is not. Second character that we will talk, which is Yaemiko, one of my favorite character, which is the good about her is that first, she is relatively good in Quicken and Taser. Quicken in here both spread and aggravate. She is literally good for driver, for in spread or even aggravate, also both good. So if you kinda heard like it's kinda good to pair with Alhaitham in Tinar, yeah, that's one of the example that she is good to pair with. And second is that she suitable in quick swap team. So if you kinda like to play in the quick swap gameplay like that, you kinda like it, then yeah, Yaemiko pretty much good at that. Just because like Yaemiko, you want to do like EEE, you do your rotation back to Yaemiko, do burst, and you EEE again, do the something like that. Yeah, everything that you are not staying that long on field and you keep swapping the character. Yeah, that's what quick swap, and Yaemiko is pretty much good in that. And third, that convenient, just because I feel like the turret itself like very easy to move to relocate, and also the cooldown is also very fast, and even you do the burst is refresh again the turret, so it's easier to relocate the turret. Is so I feel it's very convenient to do that though. Compared to Fishcl, once you messed up, you only have couple chance to repair, but after that you have to wait the cooldown again so you can mess up, or you can reset by burst. But yeah, that's a little bit kind of more restrictive. So Yoimiya is more confident in here to relocate the turret. And the last one, she's pretty much flexible in team building, just because right now you can play in Tether, a lot of different teams. Although honestly it's maybe not the best option, but she's pretty much can pair in a lot of different teams. Like let's say you want to play in Taser, play Quicken, Aggravate, Hybrid Bloom can, but not so brace. I don't really recommend it, but yeah, still okay if you kind of want to force. The bad about Yoimiya is that first, she is generally less efficient than Fishcl at C0, just because if you know the gameplay of Fishcl, that once you do E and that's it, done, you can move to another character. But instead of Yoimiya, yeah, I already say that it's easier for you to relocate the turret, but she has trade-off where that if you want to play the turret, you need to click elemental skill 3 times, right? Which is, it took time more than Fishcl, so you may kind of lose couple seconds. So if you kind of player like meta player, efficient player that you want to maximize your damage, kind of hardcore player like that, you may don't like Yoimiya just because you will lose couple seconds on your rotation, something like that. So because of that, you maybe not like it though. The next one, some of people say she has clunky gameplay. I understand why, but I will also say Yoimiya clunky gameplay is not really that bad if you're already owning and you kind of used to it. It's not that bad though. I feel even Klee is feel more clunky than Yoimiya, although yeah, I can understand if some of you say it's clunky though. And the third one is that he's not really the best on Hyper Bloom. I tried. It's kind of hard for the turret for you to hit the seed and trigger Hyper Bloom unless you're lucky. It's just very land random. If you're lucky, then yes, but if not, then no. So with that, I think yeah, Cookie Shino is a lot better than that. Unless you want to use the driver as a Yoimiya, but yeah, that means you have to make your Yoimiya as a on-field. But yeah, I think in general she's not really good in Hyper Bloom. And here we will discuss a little bit what makes she is actually different from Fishcl. Is the first, I already talked, she's pretty much convenient because she can really easily to relocate the turret itself though. So if you messed up, you can like relocate again. But Fishcl, you only have couple chance to relocate. Once you messed up, then you messed up, or you can have to do the burst to kind of like reset again the location. Yeah, you can, but if your burst still cooldown, then you have to wait, or you have a bad management on your burst energy recharge, then you will also have trouble to kind of put the placement of your turret. So that's why Yoimiya is a little bit confident in that. Second, better in spread team due to Fishcl A4 doesn't trigger, just because like the spread is mostly, it's not electro related reaction, so that's why in spread Yoimiya is still better. So that's why pairing with Tighnari Alhaitham, usually Yoimiya is a little bit better than Fishcl. And third one, she can become like on-field driver for electro, because Fishcl is the application for the arrow, you need to do charcter, but yeah, you can just click and then you can do as a on-field driver. So that's what the Yoimiya can do instead of Fishcl. The last one is that she can be helpful with the enemy that moving very fast, like, or like have short window attack. If just good example is Ruin Serpent, just because the turrets, it's very easy for you to relocate, and then the burst hit like very hard and it's very short period of time, which is the one that Fishcl doesn't offer. So that's the thing makes Yoimiya good though. And now let's talk about why you should consider to play Yoimiya. First, if you need a good flexible electro unit, especially in kind of quicken, then yeah, you may consider for Yoimiya. Yoimiya is pretty much not the best in every like team, but she can fit in almost those team though. She can kinda good substitute, not the best, but good substitute in always in every single electro related team. Let's say in Tether, yeah, she might not be the best, but she can work in there. Also in the quicken, probably Fishcl still better, right? Let's say in aggro, she still can work, and even pair with Raiden, she pretty much can work. So she pretty much kind of good and flexible electro unit though, and especially in the spread, that's where that she over a little bit better than Fishcl. And second is that if you're looking gameplay that convenient, or you're kind of type player that enjoy kind of just casual, not to become efficient or kind of meta, then you may like Yoimiya just because it's very easy for you to relocate your turret itself. So it can compromise if you kind of messed up and something like that. And I think usually casual don't really kind of matter if you lose couple seconds of your rotation, right? So if you kind of really like confident gameplay, then probably can consider for Yoimiya. The third is that if you don't have Fishcl C6, then you can consider for Yoimiya, just because I feel the max potential for Fishcl is at C6. So though. So if you don't have like Fishcl C6 yet, then you can consider for Yae. And the next one is that if you want a secondary Fishcl or Kaching looks like role like that, then you can pull for Yoimiya. Just maybe you're another team using already Fishcl and you want another like character that have same role like that or Kaching, then yeah, you can consider Yae. The last one, if you like the gameplay or character, then yeah, for sure feel free to pull. And the reason for you to skip Yoimiya is the first, if you already have C6 Fishcl, then Yoimiya is pretty much less important. Just because if you have Yoimiya at C0, pretty much she's the worst version of Fishcl at C6. Like in most of the team, Fishcl at C6 is better than C0 Yoimiya. So because of that, Yoimiya become less important though. And second is that if you're looking for meta or power creep, then I don't suggest for you to pull Yoimiya. Yoimiya is just like perfectly balanced and good character, where she's not at best at anything, but she just can flexible in anything though. So she may flexible but not really specialized in anything. That's why she cannot become meta or power creep. She's just too balanced. And the third one is that if you're looking for main DPS, then of course it's not Yoimiya, because Yoimiya, of course you can play on field, but she's not main DPS. She is mostly like on field to just become driver though, for kind of aggravate, something like that. So if you're kind of looking for solid main DPS, then looking for maybe Raiden Shogun though. And the lastly is that if you don't like the gameplay, just because maybe the sentiment from clunky and whatever, then yeah, feel free to skip. And third character is my another favorite character, which is Alhaitham. The good about him is that first, he's basically the best Dendro on field right now, and second best Dendro unit after Nahida. Maybe people just underestimate him just because he get nerfed a lot in beta, overshadowed by Nahida, or maybe don't like the gameplay because yeah, the game, or to get sentiment like Dendro Kaching whatever. But people underestimate him that his damage is actually very strong. If you can maintain the 3 mirror, is basically the projectile damage drill very high if you trigger with reaction. And second is that his measures basically very good in spread in hyperbloom. That's where Alhaitham's trying like shine very a lot. He deal a lot of damage. And third is that one of the Dendro unit or character or Dendro related kit that don't really dependent on Nahida. If you talk like Sino or Nilo, they really need Nahida in order to make it shine by a lot though. But Alhaitham don't need it. Most of the people just say like Alhaitham with Nahida, without Nahida is kind of bad, just because if you pair Alhaitham with Nahida, those kind of team become super good. That's why they say like that. But in the end, without Nahida, he's still relatively good. If you just pair, let's say, with Dendro MC or substitute with Yae, he's still very good though. I'm not even, just because like the base from Alhaitham itself is truly very strong. And the last one, he has smart gameplay, which is I really like. This is personal taste, just because the way you play Alhaitham is like think before you act, like child. It's not kind of unga bunga like Ito, or kind of like Huta, we just need charge attack, whatever it is. I kind of bored with those gameplay. I kind of like the gameplay kind of thing those. And the bad about Alhaitham is the first, he's not typical gameplay that branded gameplay, or he's not kind of unga bunga type of gameplay though, which is you need to think, you need time management or rotation management. You have to have a good combo, proper combo, in order to make him looks kinda work properly, because if you kinda messed up, then yeah, you will mess up your whole rotation also. So yeah, he's not kinda Hutao, Ito, like those character though, like that. So if you don't like those such kinda gameplay, then you may not comfortable with Alhaitham. And second is that he's overshadowed by Nahida, just because if you already have Nahida, most of the case you don't need another Dendro unit. Then that makes Alhaitham most people don't kind of prefer anymore. But in the end, he's still very good, but just like overshadowed by Nahida. Third, he's not really that flexible, honestly. When I come to team building, Alhaitham doesn't have so much flexibility for the Dendro team itself, just because most of the case you only play like spread and hyperbloom, and we don't have that much variation unless from Yae, Cookie, Shincho, Yalan, and other stuff. Nahida, just like kind of those characters that you can only play with Alhaitham. So it's not that really flexible. Barrier not so great, and Bloom it's not really so great because he cannot really do the job like kind of Nilo does. So it's not really that great. And the last one, he's pretty much replaceable, just because although he's kind of on-field Dendro driver, but the job is pretty similar with main DPS, which is pretty much replaceable also. Let's talk about why you should pull for Alhaitham. Is the first, if you need a strong on-field Dendro unit, then yes, for sure pull Alhaitham. He's basically strong in terms of on-field Dendro unit though. And second is that if you want to play double Dendro team in Abyss, let's say in the first chamber you want to use like Nahida team, and second you want to use Alhaitham team, yeah, you can try to pull Alhaitham, so you can do like double Dendro team run. And third one is that if you like the character and gameplay, then feel free to pull Alhaitham though. And the last one, if you're looking for meta character, Alhaitham is meta character. It's just like overshadowed by Nahida though. So another meta character if you're kind of looking. And the reason for you to skip Alhaitham is that first, if you already have Nahida, then Alhaitham become less important. Just because usually if you already have one solid Dendro character, then you don't need another one anymore, and Nahida technically the best. So there's no another reason for you to kinda pull for Alhaitham unless you really want to do double Dendro run. Let's say in the first chamber you want to do like Nahida with another team, and then second you want another Dendro team, then yeah, you may consider Alhaitham. But other than that, you don't really need Alhaitham. And I think most of the people that so usually they have format where one is Dendro team, one is non-Dendro team. Let's say maybe Vaporize, Freeze, something like that. And second is that if you have more than 3 main DPS, I don't think Alhaitham become so much use anymore. Yeah, although I would say Alhaitham is not really kind of main DPS, it's more into like driver for the on-field Dendro itself, but his job is still pretty much kind of main DPS. That's why if you have more than that, usually not really that important that you will end up bench though like other main DPS. And third, if you're looking for Bargain or Bloom unit, I suggest to not pull Alhaitham because Alhaitham is pretty much just best in spread and hyper room. Yeah, sure, you can make it worse in Bloom and Bargain, but that's not the best option that I will not recommend. And then lastly, if you're looking for sub DPS or support that do the off field, then don't pull Alhaitham. Alhaitham is pure on field. And lastly, which is Kazuha, one of my favorite character. Technically, 4 of this character is my favorite character by design overall. So let's talk about Kazuha. Kazuha, the good about him is that first, he's one of the best unit. Basically, for me, if I have to rank Nahida first, Kazuha is the second. Before even Kazuha is the first, just because I feel Dendro right now is more broken than Anemo. So Kazuha is a little bit fall down, but he's still one of the best units. Just second, just a little bit down from Nahida. And second is that he's very good as an elemental buffer. Basically, if you pair let's say Yoimiya or whatever team that you need to buff the element, it basically makes like the damage increase by a lot though from those elements though. And third one is very flexible in team building. Basically, almost in every team you can pair with Kazuha. That's why he's very flexible. I really like it. The next one is that he's very easy to build. Just stack EM, then that's it. You are done though. If you want to step up, then yeah, you may invest crit. But the very best line just EM. You can just ignore the crit, then that's it. Lastly, the gameplay from Kazuha is very smooth, very convenient. I really like it, and very beautiful burst animation. You just need to do E burst. That's it. Pretty much, it's very convenient, very easy, and very good in exploration. Just because you can fly with Kazuha's skill, very helpful in my exploration. I know Scaramouche right now the best, but he's still one of the best one also for me. The bad about Kazuha, this is only very small thing. It's not even impactful, so you may skip. But I just want to mention, which is first, he's dependent on team. Yes, of course, because he's animal. He needs someone to have like interact with element, then he can swirl. And also take note that you need to swirl the right element. Make sure to see a significant increase of damage. If not, you will feel like Kazuha doesn't give much effect though because you swirl the wrong thing. So that's why I say it's dependent on the team, on your rotation, something like that. And second is that since Dendro release, Kazuha fell down just a little bit. Just because on Dendro he can only shine in kind of burning and like aggravate, but other than that, pretty much Kazuha don't really need it. And the lastly is that not really the best unit in mono animo right now, just because Faruzan. Before I think in mono animo Kazuha is still viable, but right now Faruzan make it a lot better though. And the reason for it to pull Kazuha is that first, if you need a very solid elemental buffer, of course, except kinda Geo or Dendro, then for sure pull for him though. And if you kinda like a very good support, then pull for him. And then second, if you're looking for meta character, and for sure there's no way that he's no meta character. Third, if you prefer an easy and convenient gameplay, pull for him though. He's basically one of the best unit, very easy to use also. And fourth is that I really recommend, if you're a new player, don't have any 5-star character that much, Kazuha is the one that I very recommend. They will carry you very easily until the end. And the reason for you to skip Kazuha is the first, if you specialize his mono in kind of animo team, something like that, you like just playing like maybe physical even or Dendro reaction, then you can consider to skip Kazuha because Kazuha cannot contribute that much in those kind of team though. And the second is that if you're looking for main DPS, then don't pull for Kazuha. Kazuha is very good. It's one of the best unit, but if you want to kind of like on-field main DPS thing, something like Kazuha is no, because Kazuha is mostly kind of only buffing team. And the last one, if you don't like the character and gameplay, yeah, you can skip for Kazuha. And the next section, which is weapon or early constellation, let's start with Yoimiya. So for Yoimiya, I still prefer for you to go for the weapon. I think weapon is more important compared to C2. C2 is good, but you need to trigger crit also. It's kind of situational. It's pretty much easy, but I still prefer to get weapon and C2 and C1. And for Yaimiko, basically, the weapon and C2 is pretty much equally same just because the weapon also buff the skill and C2 also buff the skill. So weapon is equal C2, but of course weapon in C2 is better than C1. As for Alhaitham, early constellation or weapon, it's actually have couple different situations. So if you already have Jade Cutter, I suggest to not pull anything because C0 Alhaitham with Jade Cutter already very good. But if you insist to pull constellation, then the rank will be C2 is better than C1 and the weapon will be the least important just because Jade Cutter difference with the signature weapon from Alhaitham is just very small. That's why I don't really recommend. But if you don't have Jade Cutter, then I would say just go with the weapon. And then if you want to pull constellation, then C2, then C1 is the less important one. For Kazuha, for early constellation or weapon, so for me, C2 is better than weapon, then weapon is better than C1. So let's move to the Veridct. So if you ask me who should you pull on 3.7, my answer will go to Kazuha, just because Kazuha is absolute one of the best unit, just like after Nahida. So because of that, I feel Kazuha pull value is very high that I very recommend if you don't have, just pull for him, especially new player. It will make your life a lot easier. From both like endgame content exploration, it will make a lot easier though. So that's why Kazuha is my first choice. Then if you have to rank, probably Alhaitham if you just care about power. But if you want flexibility, then Yaimiko. And then yeah, the lastly that I want to recommend, which is Yoimiya. So pretty much that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have the best luck. You get a lot of 5-star. And if you like this kind of video, feel free to hit subscribe button and like. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.